Thanks for staying with us. So last Friday, President Bola Tinubu condemned the gruesome murder of traveling hunters intercepted by local vigilantes in the Uromi community of Ishon, North Local Government of Edo State. The president, who expressed shock at the barbaric act in the release issued by his media advisor on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, directed police and other security agencies to conduct swift and thorough investigations and punish the suspected culprits. In the same vein, Governor Monday Okwebulu of Edo State has also strongly condemned the brutal killings, while the Kano State government has dispatched a high-level delegation to Edo State to seek justice for the victims. Now, for those of you that don't have a clue what we're talking about, last week, 16 hunters were picked up by a driver on their way to the north, and while they were passing through Edo State, a certain number of vigilantes accosted them, asked them to come down, and they suspected that they were Boko Haram or kidnappers, and then they took justice into their own hands by killing those hunters. The driver, however, was spared because he was arrested, and he was able to recount and confirm to the police while the investigation that they were not kidnappers. These were hunters on their way back home for the holidays, for the Eid. And it was quite sad to see how things turned out, because they actually burnt them to death. Now, the Sultan has since spoken to keep calm, because obviously people have come out to respond in the north. Protests have come out. People have already started saying all sorts of things to incite and heat up the polity. But I think what the Sultan is trying to tell everybody to keep calm and just let the law take its course. However, the fact that this can happen, and the fact that Nigerians don't feel safe in their own country, just traveling home for the holidays in itself can lead to your death. You can join the conversation on 021-635-2013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us your own thoughts on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. Ladies, this was a really painful update to have on a day of celebration.
In
it's
the
quite
last 10
sad.
days, this happened on the 27th of March, the 27th day of Ramadan, and these innocent people were traveling to their villages without an established crime, just because weapons were found on them. They are hunters who usually will be in possession of some form of weapon, even a knife, a dagger, some things like that, and they were just accosted. No formal trial, self-help, mobbed, lynched to death, just like that. And as expected, of course, incited provocation everywhere across the country, because nobody was expecting. It was a cool, calm morning. People were just, sleeping in their houses, and we woke up to this happening. But details were later coming out of how this happened. What I'm just about is that the government of Edo State needs to do much more than what they're doing right now. And beyond just compensating families is to find justice, to see that the same people who did this to their people are fully sentenced for the crimes that they carried out, because you are not a court, you are not a security agent, you did not do any form of trial, you declare people you found in possession of weapon criminals. So somebody can be in possession of a cutlass, and that's a weapon, but that's also a tool. It can be in possession of, that's a weapon, that's also a tool. I remember back then, some of us used to have, before pepper spray was introduced, it was this key knife, pocket knife my father gave us when rape was training, whatever, at least find something to help yourself. I used to press it until we just pop up the knife. I used to find it fun. So if you find that on me and you say I have a weapon, but I'm holding it to protect myself, without a formal trial, you would never know why somebody is in possession of a weapon. And so you decide, before somebody will go and come back, you've already lynched them to that kind of powder. Is terrible, and is of course provoking. So I saw this first on a particular northern blog I follow, and the comments were over 1,000. I was like, when did this happen? When did this happen in this calm country at this time? This is what some people choose to do.
So definitely our hearts go out to the victims, their families, and really to Kano State, because they were indigents of Kano State and they were going home to Rano for the holidays. And so for me, this conversation is more about the jungle justice that took place. I feel that the vigilante meant well, in the sense that they are conscripted to take care of a particular area. And if they see or find something that they're uncomfortable with, they are meant to stop, question, and if possible, arrest or call in the police to that point. Because as we know, these are in our country right now, there are just different incidents of kidnappers and all sorts of insurgents left, right and center. And the job of vigilantes in these different communities is to protect their area. So to be fair to them, if they saw something that they were uncomfortable with, you know, what they were meant to do was to stop them, ask the question, and if needed, get the police involved. And they did that to a certain extent when they took 2 of them. But they started beating them, and by the time they took them to the police station and everything was discussed, they had killed these innocent hunters. So the thing is, every time we talk about jungle justice, we talk about waiting for proper justice. This is what we're saying. We're talking about, we condemn it because innocent people can be caught in the middle of this. You know, here is a vigilante, probably at the time feeling that they have done something good for their community, but because you did not wait to ask the proper question, you did not follow the proper channel of investigation, you have killed 14 fathers, brothers, sons, for doing nothing but being proper and good citizens of the country. And you can understand the hurt and the anger coming from the northern parts of the country. In fact, some of the comments I heard when it first happened, because it was quite quiet, a lot of people say, Nigerians don't care about the north. You know, northerners were killed and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's just moving ahead. If this were to happen in the south, everybody will hear about it. So I am happy that we're hearing statements from the emir, we're hearing from Edo State government, we're hearing from the federal government as well. It's important that this is kept right on the
front burner.
Yes, on the front burner. So Nigerians would see as proper investigation is carried out and proper justice is taken. And this is not just for lip service. This is important to make sure that we keep the country calm. Whether we like it or not, there's some people who are already making all sorts of agitations for what they call reprisals. You know, so you're going to find, unfortunately, you may find Southerners living in the north who innocent Nigerians there, and then somebody thinks that because of what has been done in the south, which happens all the time, it has happened many times, Southerners will be attacked. You know, a certain tribe will be accused of being the cause of what happened in Uromi, and then they want to carry it out. So it's important that the government make sure that this is from burner and dealt with immediately and you know, so that it does not escalate into a widespread I mean, let me come to you, Tokwe, because this is quite painful. I mean, Miriam alluded to the fact that this is something that we don't want, obviously, to escalate, and it's important that, and she said something concerning the intention, because we've been here, and there are many communities that depend on these vigilantes. In fact, they trust the vigilantes almost more than the police, because they trust that once the vigilante catches you, you must have been somebody that committed a crime. So these people thought they were doing the right thing. Now, the right thing now is relative, because do you kill them? Do you arrest them? Do you detain them? Is there a modus operandi for these people, for the vigilantes officers, to how they carry out their own operations? These are some of the questions Nigerians are asking. Let me come to you, Doc. What are your thoughts on this?
It is failure of government and institution when we have to depend on vigilantes for security. And we need to say that out loud. I remember when I was growing up, we had a time when we were getting attacked. There were robbers going from block to block in the estate, Amuwodofi Estate, Mile 2. And they told us, another community said, employ OPC. These people will protect you. Though we had a police station, we couldn't trust the institution, we couldn't trust the system. We employed OPC and made them man different areas to protect us. We must acknowledge that this is a failure of the system if we are resorting to vigilantes to protect ourselves. Because while the structured security apparatus would have trainings on how they should go about things, and when a few bad eggs carry out extrajudicial killings or stray bullet or things happen, there's a process. With the vigilantes, it is left to the good intention of our local hunters to protect us. What is the structure on ground to ensure if you are arrested, if a vigilante is caught, if a vigilante catches a kidnapper, armed robber or something, what is the process? How are vigilantes going through trainings to help them know how to do their job and how to interact with the official security? There's a lot of gray area. And it's in that gray area that a good intention can say you feel the fact that somebody has cutlass and local gun to say this person with the language he's speaking must be a kidnapper. With last week, they kidnapped people in this area. You are the people that did it. You are the ones. So yeah, confess. I was on my site about 2 weeks ago, and while I was inside the site, I was hearing gunshots. Of course, you'll be scared. You are inside bush. And they're like, no, let's go and check. What's going on? My site engineer was like, it's local farmers. But they were shooting. They said that they must have caught a bushmeat there. It's local farmers there, and we laughed about it, that maybe I should buy bushmeat because I had information about the fact that they are local farmers. If not, my assumption would be that they are kidnappers. Just because they had a gun and they were doing their business. When we don't let the system work, these kind of things would happen. The system is not working. Justice system is slow. Kidnappers get away with it. Innocent people get killed. And we don't see it work. So you now have people that are angry and are ready to do anything to protect themselves. In their head, if you take it to police station, they will release them. So they feel like there will be no justice. But if we have the system work, that's why I must celebrate the governor of the state for what they've done so far. The leaders within, at least the leader within Kano and within Edo, they have made the right move. We would like the president to speak on this. Yes, at least in a way that says that everybody will know that, okay, everything we are doing right now, we feel your pain, we understand what is going on, and justice must be fast. Not a case of, we don't want a 1 month period. Maybe a special court, maybe a expedited process. The arrest has taken place, let it be sentenced to court. So for me, family members can have peace of mind to say that, okay, our son died, our husband died, but something was done. They've been sentenced to life imprisonment, something has happened. And going forward, let's now create a structure. Like the way we have a Motekun, let's create a structure where there is formal, well-known process with which we can protect ourselves, even when we are using the vigilante system.
So I agree with you 100%. I mean, so the president also has spoken through Bayo Onanuga. So all the parties who should speak have spoken, which is a great thing. But it's not about speaking, it's about
the first step.
What's the next step? How do you ensure it doesn't happen again? What do we do to prevent? Which is what you just said, that we need to create a framework for all these various security groups. Is it Amotekun? Is it ESN? Is it Vigilante? There's got to be some kind of structure around it, because, as you said, the intention might have been, we finally made it for them. They are happy that they did the right thing in catching and apprehending these guys. But the point of killing should not be anybody's discretionary.
Yes. And the way they disagree about whether their intentions were good. So in those days, we had the local vigilantes. When they apprehend someone, there's a king in Uromi now. It is a known village decision. You drag the criminals that you suspect, you drag them to the village center, the village king would know, the village people and other elders would know. Yeah. But you drag them to the bush and you took your decision one time at all. Let me tell you what I think. Because when they apprehended them, there was somebody able to explain to them who was willing to follow the police. They decided on their own, which is why their intention is bad, that before when I go come back, we go back, we go level them. You know, that's why these people were, if it's not that we don't do an eye for an eye kind of justice system here, it should be the same level of punishment that should be given to them, because whatever good intention you have, you'll be able to wait, you'll be willing to wait it through. If they had the power to overpower these people enough to lynch them, it means that they had the power to hold them down for police to come. They decided and said the police will they come, they go release them.
But is it possible that these guys have been through something similar in the past?
No, let's leave what we see. We are Nigerians, and we must not pretend that we don't know that our people go and come to work and eat. When I was a child, there was a man who used to come to my place, and my dad would leave his clothes, old clothes.
I don't understand.
No one like Chishawa journey, you know.
Because I understand the English version.
I interpret.
I was talking that Yoruba to English, because
you get used to my vocabulary already. I'm interpreting. You know, my dad would give him his old clothes. This man. There was a time he would go up north. He was farming during farming season. He only goes and comes when. Then he goes again for harvest season. He comes here and works and does other things. So you know, people who travel go and come. They know, even in that Edo, you have people that will come. They will travel from north, sometimes by bus, sometimes by foot, farm and go back. They will help to work. So there's nothing new about you finding people in a bus that you decide, for weapon reason.
Let me go on
You have to have evil intention to decide to
We'll
lynch.
talk about that intention.
How do you even sit and watch them burn?
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So the live coverage and transmission on Hawan Bariki Dubar celebration in Dubar celebration. The venue at the old government house Katsina is happening right now. So TVC News will be linking up to that event, while those of us on TVC Entertainment would continue on the GoTV and StarTimes channels. And also for those of you watching us online, you can continue and watch us on YouTube, and we'll be happy to have you there. Okay, so Mariam, you were saying...
Yes, I was going to respond to Tokwe when she said there has to be a system of, process or of handling things, And I was going to say that I believe there already is, because they knew to take at least a couple of them to the police station. And it was them just being overly, I don't know, Nima believes that they deliberately did it. Yes. And not to stoke the fire of these differences. The truth is, if you see a group of people from the north with weapons traveling or just walking around in Nigeria right now, there is a bias and a fear of who they truly may be or what they represent, what they stand for. And because, and that fear is there. And whether we like it or not, whether we would want to say it or not, that fear is there, and it's based on things that have happened and are continually happening across the country. And this is not to say that what happened was justified, just that what was justified is to stop them and ask questions, and also to get the police involved to do a proper investigation. So that one is justified. The killing, definitely not justified. But there are killings going on across, especially in the Middle Belt. In Benue State, they are constantly complaining of people coming into their farms, going to their villages. In Plateau State, how many will we say? People are sitting down in their homes, and next thing you hear, a group of people who look a certain way are carrying weapons. I'm not justifying, because I know that this will anger some people that I'm saying this, but I'm not justifying the killing, but I'm saying that there's a real threat in our country right now. And so there's a certain group of people that would be what's the word I'm looking for? They just,
exempted?
Those group of people, they'll be seen a certain way until further investigation happens. So what I was going to say is that for the hunters, it's important that hunters are licensed and registered, and that the vigilante or whoever the community policing structure in that group also understands how to check for licensed hunters or registered hunters. You cannot be a hunter and you don't have your license for the kind of weapons that you're carrying. You have to be able to show that. You have to be able to be registered somewhere. The vigilantes across the different communities, who are usually made up of different people from the community, not always quite educated, so may not even know the question. So these vigilantes have to be trained on the sort of questions to ask and how to arrest and maybe keep someone, because the driver that was arrested says he was a handcuff was placed on him. So they even have those sort of things to use to handcuff him. So if you have all those, then you do not need to carry out that jungle justice. But these are the different steps that need to be put in place. Vigilante need to be educated and enlightened enough on the sort of questioning that needs to go on. They need to understand that the police has to be involved, and proper justice has to be carried out in cases where we have jungle justice to stop others from doing it. And really, I don't even know what can be done to compensate the families of these victims.
It's quite painful indeed, and I just really hope that in fact justice is indeed served in this case. We have to wrap up on this, but in a nutshell, as we said, we've all agreed that there has to be proper training for the vigilantes, and also for the police, and it should be very visible, and also that even the hunters should also have some kind of license so that they are easily recognizable. It's really sad. I mean, there's no way you can say this was a sad, horrific story that shouldn't have happened, could have been avoided. Our hearts go out to the family, and we pray indeed that justice is served. Let's go on a very short break. It's still Edo, excuse me. It's still Edo Fitri, and we have our Imam who's going to be coming here to share with us the lessons from this season. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.